breaking news today.
Please subscribe and check notification box to get all breaking news alerts.
With hordes of Middle Eastern migrants flooding the U.S., Arizona is a state that's resettled more than its fair share of asylum seekers. However, up to half of all their refugees have already left the state on their own accord, with more to follow because of one simple thing the residents are doing. Although larger and more liberal states are gladly accepting ceaseless waves of unvetted migrants mostly from Islamic countries, Arizona has taken in over 7,000 Somali refugees alone. Since states have been penalized under the Barack Obama administration, the southwestern state was in the boat to ship out thousands of welfare-leeching migrants who hail from one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Fortunately, they discovered an easy way to make their entitled guests leave of their own volition. According to the Phoenix New Times, at least half of the 7,351 Somali refugees resettled in Arizona have moved out of the state because there are not enough welfare and government benefits for their liking. Additionally, they are fleeing because the state requires them to learn English and find jobs in order to attain food stamps. Like all refugees, each migrant resettled in Arizona receives a lump payment of $925 from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Of course, the state receiving said migrants is expected to foot the rest of their bills after the stipend is used up. However, Arizona doesn't offer additional funding unless these welfarers take the necessary steps to earn them, which tellingly proves to be too much for many. According to the local outlet, refugees are required to complete a monthly report proving that they are taking English classes and looking for jobs. If they skip out on the language course or refuse to apply in the workforce, their food stamps are cut off and they are denied all other state benefits. The one thing that Arizona does very well is making sure that at least these families will not go hungry, Somali asylum seeker Rashik says. But sometimes these families don't get enough help. They come in saying, "Oh, my food stamps have stopped," so we have to call day and ask them why. Sheikh admitted that he and his family were leaving Arizona for better benefits elsewhere, adding that he's personally witnessed a mass exodus of Somali Muslims in the state. If that money runs out and they don't have a job, then there starts to be pressure for them to find a way to survive, Sheikh says. There's not a lot of programs to help them with employment here. Of course, Sheikh fails to mention that the refugees aren't required to have a job but to seek one out. In addition, he admits that the refugees being imported have no educational background, which debunks the liberal narrative that these third-world countries are sending their best and brightest. Despite the Somali Association of Arizona stepping in to provide groceries and money, the Muslim asylum seekers packed up their belongings to head to more democratic states like Minnesota. "So far we haven't had any refugees become homeless, that I know of," he says. Most of the time, they say they have family in Minnesota, they can't find jobs in Minnesota, so we fundraise to help them get a ticket to go there. Minnesota boasts the largest Somali population. Subsequently, the northern state is now feeling the effects of mass migration, suffering measles outbreaks, migrant gangs, the rise of Sharia no-go zones, and watching their first Somali Muslim state legislator Ilhan Omar vote to give life insurance payouts to beneficiaries of Islamic jihadists. After resettling more than 32,000 Somalis, Minnesota took a different approach to its growing Muslim population. Now, it's found that its Somali community fails to assimilate and forms its own segregated demographic, fueling hatred of American values and laws. Thanks to Arizona's unwillingness to bend over backward and fulfill the endless demands of this extremely vocal religious minority, they are leaving to leech off of more politically correct states. With its approach to welfare in the workforce, Arizona is not only proving that these migrants aren't here to better society, they're showing us how to combat the migration problem with a legal yet effective approach. Share the story and leave a comment by clicking one of the buttons below. Follow us on Facebook at Mad World News.